What's going on, y'all? This is Jay Marie, host of the Dirty Pleasure Show, and we are bringing to you quickies from QOC Network. Be sure to like and follow and subscribe at QOCnetwork.com. I've got with, or excuse me, at QOC Network. I've got with me E Black, my longtime collaborator and co-host. We bring to you quickies.
Okay, all right. So let's get into this. Jay Marie, got a
E
question for
Black, E Black. Got an answer, I think. Hopefully,
you. Okay.
hopefully.
Can you actually be blamed for somebody else cheating?
Mm. I have an unpopular opinion about this. And the unpopular opinion is when you're not doing your, okay, take the relationship out of it. When you're not doing your job at work, can you be blamed for being fired because you didn't do your job at work?
Yeah, I can understand that.
You lost your job because you weren't doing your job, right?
Yeah, I can understand that.
Why would that not apply anywhere else?
So what you're saying is that if a man wasn't doing his job in the relationship, it gives you leverage to cheat.
I'm not saying
There we
that
go,
gives me leverage.
everybody.
No, I'm
We will
saying
see you next
no,
week on this episode of Quickies.
a
Roll
minute.
that music.
Hold on. No. But I'm saying it's unpopular because I think it goes both ways. I think
Yay.
you
Hey,
can cause
you're
you can
waffling.
cause problems. No, you can cause problems in your relationship by not doing your job. Could you not? Can you not?
So say it. So say it.
I was not doing my job in a previous relationship
Mm-hmm.
and I got cheated on by said individual. And I will say, I know it was because I was not doing my duties as a woman. Now, I know women are going to be like, oh my God, you don't love yourself. You think that. No, I know I wasn't doing my job. And I feel like that's just my opinion. Y'all can love yourself and hate him and never take accountability for your actions too. But I tend to like look at those things as there's a cause and effect. I don't know what
Oh,
my hairline is doing. What the fuck is going on with my baby hair? My bad, y'all. Sorry. Little vein right there. I just did this. It's too close up. Maybe I should back
girl,
up a little bit.
relax. Let's go watch this video, okay?
Yes. I don't want it close up on my hairline though. It was giving. Anyway.
In our marriage.
Both of y'all?
No, but
You did? It's normally the man, isn't it? Is it normally or no? Okay, if you the women on the low, you went through infidelity.
Yes.
Wow.
And so we were so disconnected in our relationship that we had lost who we were and who we were supposed to be.
Did you find out, or did you tell him?
I told him
You told him. Why'd you tell him?
because it was eating me alive. And one of the biggest things for me is I didn't want to be like my father. And I realized.
Any thoughts so far?
His voice is a little different than what I expected to come out of his mouth. I'm just saying it threw me off a little bit. It did. Okay, it did. I'm being okay. Anyway, it threw me off a little bit, but my thoughts on that is I can understand where she's coming from because I had an opportunity to cheat back and I didn't exactly. I'll say that.
You didn't exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to continue with the video, whatever that meant.
I'm just saying.
That I had become my father.
Wow.
And to know that I caused the same pain that I hated him for doing to my mom.
Oh,
And
gosh.
I realized there was a lot of unforgiveness, a lot of unresolved issues because of the physical, verbal abuse that I experienced as a child, and then the sexual abuse that I experienced as a child.
I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But it sounds like she's making excuses for her behavior. Sounds like she's saying that I went through traumatic situations and the way that I handled them is to cheat.
I want to see the whole video. I feel like the whole video may explain more for her case, because right now it is given I cheated because back in the day Craig took my toys and lied and told me he didn't have them.
And the woman in you can't just really, give her all the business that you want, right? There has to be more. Okay.
I'm trying to give her a benefit of a doubt.
I hear you.
Let's see. Oh, girl, let's see what's.
She's shaking over there.
Because I'm really hoping there's more to this.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those things had come to a head, and I was like, "This is not who I want to be."
Wow.
Yeah.
What was it like leading up to that, having that conversation?
Panic, fear, like my life is over. I have ruined the best thing that ever happened to me, which is my husband being my best friend. That was one of the things that stood out to me about him, is he was different than any other man that I had dated. I know that we were young when we got married, but I had dated before, and he was so different from anybody else. And it just like, it broke me inside to know that here's the best thing that ever happened to me, and I ruined it. I really am not good enough. I haven't earned the right to be with somebody as good as him.
Set a scene for me on how this conversation came about.
I knew beforehand.
Really?
Yeah, you do. But because I was so disconnected, I was able to put that thing on the back burner, like whatever.
How did you know?
When you're a couple and your life together and your intimacy together, when that's not right. My wife traveled for business, and so I'm not saying that everybody who travels for business is stepping out. That's not what I'm saying. But I understood that the things I knew I wasn't meeting certain needs in her life, and so for me, I'm like, how are those needs getting met?
Wow.
And so I just really started to contemplate those things, and I knew I was like, there is someone else. But I never confronted her about that. So when she came to me and she told me, that brought like a certain level. Obviously, anger came out in those moments, but that brought the challenge to me of now I have to contend with this thing. It's one thing when you think you know something, but you can just back burner that thing in your head. It's another thing when it's right in front of you. Now you have to deal with it. You got to really confront it now.
The fact that you're taking ownership on multiple parts of this is kind of confusing to me.
What is your question? First, let me.
Yeah. Gather your thoughts. So, why do you think he's confused about the level of ownership that he's taking in this situation?
Well, okay. In all honesty, I think when someone cheats, there is accountability on both parts, because it is the one who cheated. Did you try to communicate your discomfort or dis-ease or whatever in the situation multiple times or at all before you did this? And was it, neglected or not heard or not, whatever, acknowledged, or however you want to put it? But then on the flip side of it, it's well, were you doing your part? Were you doing what he's asked, or were you accommodating and all this other type of thing? Or were you just whatever, we married, well, you can't go nowhere unless you did it, da, da, da. And then they step out, and then you're like, what? How? I didn't see. So now you Ray Charles.
Yeah,
Right?
I think
Peace
the
to
level.
him, but yeah.
I think the level of accountability definitely needs to be had in any in relationship, and I think he's taken definitely some kind of accountability, understanding that he may have not participated in some things that may have gotten his life
But
and his relationship.
let's talk about her.
Go ahead, go
This
ahead.
one. I don't see how your childhood brings you to cheat in your current relationship, first of all. But
No.
I do see,
I do see
well,
how your childhood, the way that
okay.
you learn how to love, the way that you learn how to deal with people loving, and the behaviors that you have learned at an early age do foster and do fester into your real life, into
So
your
you're
adult.
justifying her cheating because of her
No,
childhood.
no. What I'm saying is that what she's telling you is that her past and the way that she's dealt with things may have contributed to the behaviors that she's basically exuding right there. Maybe those
Okay.
situations, maybe
But
there are people who use sex as a soothing mechanism.
right. I understand that, but there's still a level of accountability that I'm not hearing from her. And that's what's concerning me, because me in real life, I feel like there's accountability on both ends of it. It can't be one-sided, because the relationship's not going to work if I'm blaming you for me cheating because you didn't do what I asked you to do. So now I'm blaming you, and then you can't even fully be sad about the fact that I cheated on you because you defending yourself like, no, what do you mean I cheat? I made you cheat. No, you cheated. You did this, you did that. But then it comes down to, we're not going to accept accountability for our parts in it. And that's where this is what it sounded like. She's trying to blame her childhood on the fact that she couldn't communicate her needs to her man, or she didn't try to work things out with her man. And that's where I think, no, some of that childhood stuff we as adults have to deal with and compartmentalize and understand in therapy and all that sort of thing, how to get past that, because bringing that into your current relationship is now becoming a cop-out.
Yeah, I definitely think she's what you're saying in regards to the accountability. I think she's, of course, said, hey, my childhood was rough. That's the reason why I acted the way I did. My sex abuse was a reason why. My needs weren't being met was a reason why. But she's not saying the things that necessarily mean that she's holding herself accountable. Outside of all that, her actions still need to be her actions, not an action that is based on something else. I think is kind of what I'm hearing from you too, right?
Yeah, I think we actually fucking agree on this. Sadly, I mean, I don't know. I think we're agreeing, which is wasn't supposed to happen like that. But so
Okay.
far,
All right,
we'll
let's keep
see.
going.
I mean, one, you're saying, well, I knew her needs weren't met. Her needs need to be met, and somebody else is probably meeting those needs because I'm not. And the other part was like, yo, I'm internalizing it, and this is making me a better person. Bro, I'm leaving. Hey, boo, I love you. Okay. But I'm leaving. I can't in my mind justify someone hurting me in that way and me saying it's my fault. But
So this is kind of the question I kind of want to ask you. A lot of times he said it with conviction, hey, I'm leaving. Do you think really cheating is the ultimate deal breaker?
It can be if it's repeated actions of cheating, yeah.
I mean,
But if
it's not
it's a
necessarily okay. What do you mean by repeated action? If she comes forward and said, "Hey, I either cheated in the past or I was cheating in the past," does it really make a difference?
it doesn't, but well, cheating and cheated, one is past tense, one is currently going on. And that's what cheating to me means. So if you're saying I was cheating in the past, are you still? Because I count it as, you could kind of count it as one, like if you don't got all these different, situations and scenarios that you can point out, then I guess you count that shit as one. But if it continues on after I said, okay, we'll deal with it, let's move on, and then you turn around and do it again, then I got to decide, do I forgive him again? Is it a 3 strike you out rule, or is it a no? This is a repeated offense, and because it's a repeated offense, I gotta go because you don't respect the you're not changing your behavior, so therefore you don't respect the relationship and the validity of this union, validity of the union, or whatever it is, the bond that we have. You broke that. You
But
breached that.
once again, I want to ask the question again: is cheating the end of a relationship?
It doesn't have to be,
Okay,
but it oftentimes is.
understood. Just asking.
Okay.
I guess that's why y'all been married for 28 years.
Well, to be clear too, like there are two people in a relationship.
Yeah.
And when somebody cheats in that relationship, there are people who are just not good people, right?
Yeah.
And so they make terrible decisions, and they will continue to do that probably forever. But then there are people who make a mistake. And usually when that mistake happens, something is at the center of that thing. So, no, I can't be responsible for the decisions that Sabrina made. I got to be responsible for the decisions that I made. And I have to take ownership of the fact that my decisions have an influence on her decisions.
No, I agree. That is what I said. It doesn't. So
no.
no. Okay.
I
It doesn't influence. So if somebody hits you or punches you or whatever, does that not influence you to punch back?
I think there's a level of decorum amongst each other as relationships that demand the utmost respect. Because I don't meet a need does not necessarily mean or equate to cheating. I can understand how I can understand how he basically said, I deserve to be treated on because I was doing X, Y, and Z. I don't think that's true. I
don't think that's true either. You don't deserve to be cheated on, but that's a part of accountability. You realizing you caused issues in your relationship by not addressing the shit before it got to that. But that's not your fault that it went there.
Yes.
It's her fault that she didn't try to, do whatever it was, or fix it, counseling, whatever it is that you can do to get like a middle person in there. Not a middle person, that's probably
get another person in there, right?
No, that's the wrong terminology.
No, they can bring in somebody to help the situation.
I'm not talking. Well, if that's the thing, and that's what was not being met, then that's a different situation. But I'm saying, what are you calling people? Mediators. A mediator to kind of like help communicate the needs. You just can't. Dude, you just can't be all the way wholesome. You gotta twist it.
What? Just bring in some mediators.
Mm-hmm. Right. To discuss
Oh.
Maybe there's a miscommunication. Maybe they're not hearing each other. I'm over here trying to do the whole therapy thing. You over here just.
You need somebody to referee the situation, right?
That's not what I said. I said mediation. You over here. turning this into BT uncut and shit.
Just
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Y'all.
but I hear you. I hear you. I definitely hear you. I think there are things
Okay.
that they could have done to better address their situation. And I definitely think, in my opinion, I think he's being a little rough on himself. And
I
I
agree.
think he's one of these guys who are very logical, and they think of life or whatever they do as cause and effect. And I don't believe this is necessary. I don't think everything has to be cause and effect in terms of this. However, I do respect him for at least rationalizing it, because they have been together 28 years. So at some point you have to
when
come
did
to
happen? I guess when did this cheating happen? Because we don't know when
does it
that happened.
matter after 28 years?
Huh?
Does it matter after 28 years?
Yeah, because if it happened year one,
They're not talking about year one.
okay, so
But
it must have happened like halfway,
yeah, it can
midway,
happen
or something
year.
like that.
Now that's another thing. Doesn't matter what year. Like after 10 years, you at least get a buddy pass, right? Like every 10 years, you get like a new like buddy pass. Like, hey, I can cheat this decade. You know what I mean? You ain't never heard that deal?
The fuck no, I ain't never heard of that. What you mean?
Look, read the contract in the small print. Every decade you get one fuck up.
What contract is this?
Okay, see. Never mind.
Never mind. You right. You bullshitting. You bullshitting entirely on that one.
That's the
What
part I have
contract?
to own. And so, and I can't own, her decision to be with another person and to cheat, have an affair. I don't get to own those things. Those are Sabrina's to own. What I have to own is, what are some of the things that I did during that time that had a really negative impact on our relationship? What are the things that drove wedges between Sabrina and myself? What are the things that made Sabrina feel like she couldn't come to me for the things that she needed? I gotta own those things. I can't ask her to own that.
Ooh, wait.
So,
Final thoughts.
what did you think?
My final thoughts are that their relationship lasted 20 some is lasting, and it's continuing to last. So apparently he's found a way to move past it. What I think, okay, they're talking about it on the show. Hopefully behind the scenes, they're actually addressing what they're saying in person or, on camera behind the scenes to like not continue down that path. But if she continues down the path of, my childhood made me do it, and she's not trying to get any counseling or therapy or anything like that to address those things that caused her to feel she needed to do it, then I don't think that's a change in behavior. I think that's just I'm not cheating for the moment.
Very interesting. What you're saying is that basically if you're not addressing the childhood issues, the sex abuse, or the other things, she's basically just waiting for another trauma-filled scenario to happen and not having the tools to deal with it.
Well, that's the thing. We're addressing it now.
Yeah, but life is good as long as this is behind us. But once you get into another situation, then you're still leaning on the same behavioral traits.
That's what I'm saying. And I think an apology or and I'm sorry is a change in behavior that really shows you are regretful of your decisions, not that you just forgive me for this one, but like another one come and I'm gonna tell you, oh my God, I was thinking about when my daddy whooped my ass and I ran out, and that's why I was with Craig.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Craig, but shout out to you, the viewer. What do you guys think? That's right. That's what they call a segue. Shout out to everybody. But if you agree with us, or if you disagree,
I think we kind of agree on this, sort of. I think we do mostly agree on this one.
That she ain't shit, right? You can say it. Come
She
on.
has shit to work on. She has a
Oh
lot of
my
shit to work on.
gosh.
She has a lot to shit. She has a lot of shit to work on, and there are moments when we're not shit, and she wasn't shit in those moments. So
Very good way of saying it. So remember, send your questions. Also, subscribe, hit the like button, share this
Absolutely.
video, contact us at the Dirty Pleasure Show at gmail.com if you want us to review anything, have any comments, questions, or videos you'd
letters,
like us to review.
letters, letters. Yes,
Okay.
letters, because we got a gang of letters that I don't even know how we're gonna get past all this.
Yeah.
This one specifically.
Okay. All right. Well,
Next.
we'll see you on the next segment. Peace.
Friday night quickies. Friday night quickies. Friday night quickies. Friday night quickies.